Lisa, thanks for joining me here. It is an absolute pleasure. We're going to be talking about your area, but you know what? Why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Crikey, how long have we got? Well, thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here too. So my name's Lisa Francis, and I am the manager of West Leeds Primary Care Network. Also a director of the limited company that's attached to that organisation, mainly for employment purposes. So I have general oversight for keeping the thing running on a day-to-day basis. So basically what we've done is we've played to our strengths. As we've grown and evolved, we've had a look at the resource that we have. We squeeze every bit of value out of it, which is how we've ended up being your customers.
we have to kind of get on to the fact that eventually. How the hell did you get into us?
Well, why we sat in this room together.
Yeah, because ultimately we're talking about what services do you get provided for? You do not get any people management support at all.
Absolutely not. So this is the thing. If I didn't, so when we created a limited company in 2019, we already knew at that point that we were aiming towards incrementally self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
So we wanted to be able to employ directly. At that time, we had 4 host employers, 3 of which were practices, and the other one was the local community healthcare trust, which is Agenda for Change. So some staff on Agenda for Change contracts, 3, and the other ones on these 3 practice contracts, which are very different poles apart. So we knew we wanted to directly employ. We had to wait for a while for the NHS pension to catch up. We couldn't go live in the limited company until we knew we'd got a portal into the NHS pension for the stuff on. So you know, when we went live in the limited company in April 2021, we had to start thinking about the business functions for the limited company. And, you know, most of the other PCNs in Leeds, and a lot of them still do to this day, will pay a management fee to an external provider for the HR service or the finance service. So, but we knew because we were going to take responsibility for all of these staff from going live, we needed to have some kind of HR line management. And at the time, another good friend and colleague of mine, Teresa Hutchinson. Hello, Teresa.
Hello.
She had given me this word of mouth referral to you. There is no better, is there? Word of mouth is the best thing.
Yeah.
So Teresa, who is in practice management within our member practices, from what I can gather, she'd done all of the heavy lifting for us before we engaged your services, because I think, to the best of my knowledge, Teresa had explained to you and your staff that, you know, this idea of paying several £100s a month for an HR service that you may or may not use on a monthly basis is not going to work. Exactly.
So
the way Teresa
we offer something different.
So what she said to me was this, right? There was so many ticks in boxes here. She said, Lisa, first of all, breathing space, literally pay as you go.
Yeah.
Buy your hours. They will advise you over those hours and just let you know when you need to buy some more hours. You do not pay for dead time at all. She said, it's a small local business. Local business, tick. We'll have a bit of that. She said, you will get personal service.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, really, she pay as you go, to be fair. So because what I needed was I had some, so I've got a really close colleague that I work with, Alison Stewart, who was at the time managing one of our practices, and she had a lot of HR experience, so she would coach me in the day-to-day line management stuff. So I became quite comfortable with that quite early on, and I seem to I quite like it. I feel like I've got quite an aptitude for it. But the thing that we really knew we needed was that higher level, complex situation HR consultancy.
And over a longer period of time as well. Cases go on for much longer.
Oh, God, we know that, don't we? Well, I mean, we've lived through that, haven't we, Susie? I've always had a dedicated person. I used to have lovely Chrissy, who very selfishly retired.
How dare
she? How very dare she? Hello, Chrissy. And now I've got lovely Sharon. And we were talking before, weren't we? Sharon is just fabulous. She is the yin to my yang. So this is what I love, right? I don't have an HR qualification. I've learned as I've gone on the job. So I know what I know. I don't know what I don't know. And Sharon will sometimes, because we're quite fledgling, I've always got this thing in my head like, what if I get sued? Which is not a bad thing.
I don't think it's about being fledgling. I think every manager is concerned about being sued. Yeah.
So it's always on my mind. So I will probably lean towards caution normally.
Yeah.
But Sharon is really direct in the right instances. And she'll say to me, Lisa, you've done enough. No more sitting around the table for informal chat. You can move now. You can move to the next stage. And I'll be like, are you sure? And she'll be like, yes, Lisa, I'm sure.
You really need a professional to support you in saying, you don't need to pander to this person anymore. You've done everything that you're required to do. Now you need to get hard.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I've had. And she teaches me things. She gives me confidence in myself, she does. And it's wonderful. And also, it's a really personal touch. Sometimes I'll ring her and she'll say, oh, how did that thing go last month? Or I'll say, how did your appointment go last week? I mean, I'm probably tempting Providence here, but I haven't spoken to her for a while. Things have been all quiet on the Western Front, and I've really just jinxed it now, haven't I?
She's been kept busy, believe you me.
This is why I don't want to pay a monthly fee every month. I haven't spoken to Sharon for over a month. I don't know how long it's been, but I don't want to pay dead money. I've got to justify every penny that I spend because I have financial oversight. And, thinking again about the HR function, as you well know, we've had some really complex issues over the last couple of years. And I can tell you honestly, we would have been totally out of our depth dealing with them on our own if we hadn't got breathing space. I'm not joking. There's one in particular I'm thinking of, and you probably know which one. That was very, very complex and took a long time to reach completion. And there were a lot of twisty turns on that. And I lost sleep many nights over that. And honestly, your advice, your guidance, your reassurances, I thought I was losing my mind at times through that process.
To be honest, that mindset and what you went through is familiar. Hugely familiar, because that's how most of our managers and clients feel when faced with a difficult people problem.
Yes.
Sorry.
But it's an interesting journey. And I think, for us, the bigger we get, the more likely we are to have the more complex problems, I guess. But I have learned such a lot, and I've grown in confidence. I think where sometimes I might have run your team 2 years ago, I probably know the answer now. So you're doing yourself out of money, Suzie, by training me up. I had a really unwieldy contract for my staff when I first started this journey, and you and your team came up with this much better, much more concise, succinct contract where there's only about 6 or 8 boxes to fill in, and the rest is just it just stays attached to the end of the contract because that's a rolling piece of information.
Yeah.
So, just making sure that the things that need to be currently covered in legislation, because my job isn't HR. My job is to run the PCN. So I haven't got time.
You should
to keep
delegate
on top.
it.
Exactly. So when you tell me that your contract is much more up to date and future proof than mine and airtight, of course I'm going to go with that, and I've been using it for a long time now.
Well, we do try. However, I remember seeing your handbook.
Oh God, the handbook! Don't even start about the handbook.